Welcome back to the introduction to general linguistics. Today we are going to talk about animal communication. As you know, animals use different kind of ways to communicate to each other. When we talk about dogs use sounds to communicate to each other. But dogs can also use their gestures to show their feelings. As you can see in this picture, when your dog is being friendly, then your dog can act like this. But when it is suspicious, then the body posture is like this one. When your dog is happy, then it may act like this. A similar way of communication is also done by cats. Cats will also use sounds and also body postures. Cats will act differently to show how they feel. For example, when it is fearful, then it will act differently as when it is defensive. A cat may also perform different kind of facial expression. Look at the face here. When your cat is relaxed, then the face can be like this. But when your cat is fearful, then it acts differently, right? It opened the mouth widely. Facial expression is also used by the apes, like what you can see in the following picture. When a chimpanzee is playful, for example, then the face is like this because he is happy. Look at the smile. But when the chimpanzee is frightened, then the face is different, right? So here are some kinds of animal communication. We also have an animal that is very unique, and this animal uses a different mode of communication. Let us see the following animation. A bee uses what we call a dance. When a honeybee found a flower, for example, source of food, then the honeybee will go back to the nest to tell their nest mates where the food is. And the bee will use the dance and then the sun to tell others about the direction. The first dance is the round dance. This dance shows that the direction of the source is within 165 feet. And this is the pattern of the dance. So the bee will make the pattern like a circle. Then after the friends tells them the source, then other honeybees will find out the source. If the source is more than 500 feet, then the bee will show the direction and also the distance. And the bee will perform what we call the waggle dance. And this is the pattern of the dance. So the bee will dance in a semicircle, and then when it comes in the straight cross line, the bee will wiggle energetically. Okay, this is the pattern. Now, how far, the distance is expressed by the time, how long the dance is performed. 1 second is approximately 1 kilometer. So the longer the dance is performed, then the further the distance is. And the direction is shown by the position where the vehicle is. And the B here use the sun to show the direction of the source. So when it is up, then this is the same as the direction of the sun. Talking about animal language, then there are some similarities and some differences between animal language and human language. The similarities are, for example, that animal language is also used as a mode of communication, and it has particular meanings. Animal language also has what we call pragmatic function, because it is used to show something, to show particular purposes. And we also have the interchangeability feature here, because animal can perform as the sender and as the receiver also. But there are some differences. The first one is that animal language is genetically inbuilt. Right from the time the animal is born, it inherits what the parents can do. Although the animal is raised by another animal, the animal cannot acquire the language of the animal that takes care of it. Just like the ugly duck here, the ugly duckling here. Although the ugly duckling here is raised by the mother of these ducks, this ugly duckling cannot perform the language used by the 3 ducks here. A parrot can imitate what we trained to it, but this parrot cannot use the expression that we trained to it on the right context. For example, when we train it to say good morning, it will always say good morning whenever the time is. So the parrot does not have the ability like the trainer, and it cannot learn like us. Another difference is related to the messages that can be conveyed by animals. Animal communication is limited to talk about food, for example, the bee dance, which is used to convey the distance and also the quality of the food source, and then as a warning or alarm, and then territorial claims, a cat will produce a particular pheromones to show its territory. And the reproduction, grouping, converting, recognition and greeting, and also emotional state. So there are some features that we need to highlight here. In terms of creativity or productivity, animal communication is very limited. It is not as creative or not as productive as human language. And then displacement. Some animals have this feature. For example, the bee or the prairie dogs. The prairie dogs can tell others about the size, shape, and then speed of the enemies. And then patterning or grammar. Bees can perform different patterns of dance to show different meanings. And then another feature that makes human language different from animal language is the discreteness. Although a chimpanzee can combine some units of meaning to make phrases most animals cannot do it. I think that's all that I can share. Thank you.